Welcome into Jags A.M. Welcome into Jags A.M. I'm Kainani Stevens. As we get ready for training camp, it's now mandatory minicamp. OTAs are behind us. Brian Sexton and Oehser are with me today. We'll get right into big things. Early dismissal is our first big thing because while it is normally mandatory minicamp, it's not mandatory for everyone this time around. Doug Peterson excusing some of the veterans on this team and some of the other players that have been here during OTAs. So it's mostly rookies and younger players, some working back from injury. Brian, why do you think it's so important for Doug Peterson to be able to do this, let some of those veterans and earlier players go, earlier?
Well, there's a couple of different ways to look at it. How about this angle? The science behind training and preparation is so acute. I mean, they know exactly what kind of work these guys got done. And because of the technology that they have with a variety of different tools, they know how much work they want to get from each player and save their bodies for training camp and into the preseason. They want to be very meticulous about this. So for Doug to get all the work done, all that he needed to get from these guys in phase 1, 2, and 3 in the OTAs, no reason to take extra pressure on the body and have these guys have to miss some time in August. You got it done, check the box and move on.
I'll look at it the way I look at most off-season stuff. They let Trevor go. Beyond that, nobody who left was all that important for them to be here at OTAs anyway. So, and I'm kidding a little bit, but all the guys who left and who were dismissed were veterans who had been around all off-season, except for like Ronald Darby and Mitch Morris, that they're guys who've been in the league forever. They'd already been through OTAs. What's 3 more days going to do?
One of the faces that was a veteran that we saw for the first time yesterday, our second big thing, 41 returns. Josh Allen was in town after training in the offseason in Arizona. He's back here for mandatory minicamp, and he said he's ready to get going.
Excited to be back. It was a good first day. Get to work with some of the young guys. You know, let them see, you know, this is everybody's the real deal, but this is the real deal. And if you want to get to here, come on.
John, when you look at this, is there any concern that Josh Allen wasn't here, or do you think he'll be all right with training on the side and then coming in for training camp?
Was there any concern that he wasn't here, Kai? I think you know me better than that. No, none. He was in the Pro Bowl last year. He did basically the same preparation last year as he did this year. He's an elite player. With the elite players, you let them prepare however they need to prepare to get ready to be elite.
You know, Kai, one of my favorite coaching quotes is from Red Auerbach, the great Celtics coach for all those years. He said, winning isn't the hardest thing. He said the hardest thing is wanting to do it again. So you've got a guy coming off his best professional season, 17 and a half sacks. So I've been very interested in the interaction I've had with him this offseason, including yesterday, to see if he had that eye, right? If he wanted to do it again. And I didn't get the impression, and maybe you could share your impression. It looks like he is lined up and ready to do the hard stuff, which is to build on 17 and a half sacks.
I don't think he has the ability to not be competitive. He talked a little bit yesterday just about the competition he's always had with his sister, who's an athlete in the WNBA. So I don't think Josh lacks that drive whatsoever. I think this contract may motivate him even more than what we saw from him last year. So let's check out our final big thing. That's training camp. So training camp's right around the corner now that we get minicamp out of the way, and a month away is training camp. Brian, when you look at training camp this year after the way things ended last year, what's a focus that you're hoping the team kind of gets into when they get back here for real for training camp?
Well, you know, we've talked so much about bigger, stronger, faster. That's obviously what the eyes will show you when we get out there. I want to see if this communication, that's been such a big factor, especially on defense, with Ryan Nielsen carries over when they're wearing helmets, right? When they're out there every day, are they still communicating? Because when you talk to these guys, they say that was a big breakdown last year on the defensive side. No one was talking. So can they keep that up? Can they still be as communicative? Can they get to that next level with this defense and be where Ryan Nielsen wants them to be by the time the regular season starts?
Yeah, I guess I have two. One, I think everybody wants to see, can they run block in big situations better? I don't know if you see that in training camp or not. We're going to see some run blocking drills in training camp, and we'll all jump to conclusions. But until it's 3rd and 2 against Buffalo on Monday night, I don't know if you're going to know it. So in training camp, let's see if Trevor Lawrence looks like the Trevor Lawrence that he's looked like so far, meaning quick decisions, command, all that stuff. I expect that, but we want to see it.
Yes, and no more hats and shorts, which John will be very happy about.
Oh, I'm going to miss the hats.
All right, stay with us. Coming up after the break, we'll talk a little bit about what we did see at the first day of mandatory minicamp.
Chelsea here from Renewal by Andersen, where we deliver custom-designed energy savings windows and doors. Did you know our unique Fibrix material combines elegance and resilience, offering double the strength of traditional vinyl? Now through June, buy one window or patio door and receive 40% off, plus 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Restrictions apply. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com for details. License number CGC 1527613.
Have you been looking for a way to positively impact the youth in our community? Become a Take Stock in Children mentor today. For 25 years, Goodwill's Take Stock program has been changing the lives of middle and high school students in Duval, Putnam, and Swanee counties. It offers support through mentoring, college tuition scholarships, and so much more. Take Stock is growing rapidly, and more mentors are needed. For just 1 hour a month during the school year, you can help shape a brighter future. To learn more and apply to be a mentor, visit goodwillnorth-fl.org. Enter the Corona Concert Beach giveaway for your chance to win 2 tickets to a concert at Daly's Place and a 2-night stay at a Florida beach hotel. No purchase necessary. Open only to legal U.S. residents residing in Florida 21+. The Corona Concert Beach giveaway is running from June 1st, 2024 and ends July 1st, 2024. No transportation or alcohol awarded with prizes. Prizes must be used before December 31st, 2024. Sponsored by Bold Events, LLC. Void outside the state of Florida. For complete details, see official rules at dailysplace.com/connect/Corona sweepstakes. More on Corona beer at coronausa.com.
Move the freight, move the freight. Magellan Transportation voted the coolest office space in Jacksonville. You can apply online at magellanlogistics.com.
Their attention to detail in the building, their work ethic in the weight room, how they're competing, out on the football field, in all really phase 2, phase 3. And we've seen a lot of positivity there, and they're it's a good group top to bottom, and so that's why I think it's good for them to get the bulk of the work this week and then take a little break and come back ready to go in July.
Doug Peterson speaking to the media yesterday, kind of sharing that when you let some of the veterans go, they can focus a little bit more on some of the younger guys. So the rookies who have obviously been here since rookie minicamp, and then they've been here throughout OTAs, and then obviously some of those second-year players we've been talking about.
Yeah, 2 guys who stood out to me yesterday. The first guy I saw when I walked in the indoor facility was Cooper Hodges, and they were firing out from underneath, a shield, something on top to keep him low, and just how powerful he was. And he looked like a lot of rookies did last year, a little doughy. Guys they're spending their off season getting ready to go and make visits. He looked hard. I mean, he looked like he had spent a lot of time in the weight room. He looked really good for running around in shorts. And then Ventrell Miller, who yesterday, every time I turned around, there was 51 making a play in 7-on-7 and in team drills. So those are 2 guys that the coaching staff, has their hands on right now, John, to try to multiply their ability to make an impact when training camp and the preseason starts.
Yeah, and I think for Ventrell specific, I think Cooper Hodges is going to be on the team as a swing guard with the idea that what they wanted to do with him last year, which was have him on the team, and I think ready to start this offseason since he was hurt. I don't think that worked out. I think that's the plan for him this year. Ventrell Miller is a guy in a new scheme with very much no depth chart, and I believe with Ventrell Miller, he will get an opportunity in training camp to show that he deserves to be on the field. 4th-round pick. This was not a guy that they drafted to let go in 2 years. They want him on the field.
Well, and he's coming off an Achilles injury, and as you see him moving right there.
Yeah, it's impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's mostly guys with Achilles, especially, he hasn't even been a year, guy, kind of dragged their leg.
I mean, maybe he's on that Aaron Rodgers Achilles plan that they were talking about coming back so quick. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, Ventrell's been doing great with his rehab. He looks explosive. He looks fast. Everything you want to see out there. And they've made those intuitions so far that, he could be out there as a starter, especially with Ryan Nielsen's new system. So what he's able to do here and what he's able to do in training camp will be cool. He'll definitely be someone to keep an eye on. As we mentioned, those injured players get a little more time. Some of the other injured players, I saw Gabe Davis, who's been working back from an injury as well, was out there today. What I wanted to mention was Mac Jones, who actually was running practice. He's the only quarterback that's still here. They released, obviously, Trevor was here lifting, but as part of the practice yesterday. Mac Jones, because just the way that he ran practice, it felt like a real practice is what I'll say. There's been some OTAs that are not OTAs, but mini camps we've been a part of, or certain OTAs where if the starting quarterback isn't there, it doesn't function at all. And I will say, at least it looks like a practice, which I appreciate. So it's a bit of a dynamic, I think, when you look at having a backup quarterback that can run some things.
It helps everyone, right? All these receivers who are trying to find a way to make an impact in training camp, they've got an NFL caliber starter who's out there. Same thing, the defense is getting better looks with a quarterback who knows what's going on, as opposed to an undrafted guy from, the University of the Pacific who's just here for training camp.
Look, quarterbacks get hurt just like everybody else.
Yep.
If Mac Jones is the next guy next year, they go into situations when Trevor can't go, which I hope never happens, but you're better there. So that's an upgrade.
And if you look back at some of the stuff last year where Trevor was hurt, maybe kind of came back sooner than maybe if he sat out a week, you have a Mac Jones who can step in and get you a win, the whole season's a little bit different.
It just makes every one of those reps he's getting, these 3 days really valuable to him.
Also, just to look at some of the rookies, obviously we've been excited with what we've seen from Brian Thomas Jr., but is there any other rookies that you've seen, Brian, that you kind of were impressed with so far, or even just excited about seeing how they develop?
Well, off the field on Saturday night, I was at a charity event, and I had the opportunity to stand next to Mason Smith, right? We talk about bigger, stronger, he was wearing, a sweatshirt and a pair of slacks. Just how big he is, right? I mean, you can't necessarily tell it by the numbers on a piece of paper, but how wide his shoulders are, how big and long his arms are, and an impressive kid. I mean, a nice kid, had a nice conversation with him. But when we talk about having that size, speed, the traits, he's got them. You can see them.
Yeah, on the field, Jarian Jones, I'm sorry, I keep doing that, sure looks like he's ready to play. And he looks like he could play outside, he could play inside. I would be surprised if come week one that Jarian Jones it isn't a big factor on the defense.
Definitely doesn't look scared out there.
No, and when you draft guys who are fifth-year seniors, there is a little bit of an element of maturity and, hey, 23, 24 years old, it's time to play. There's not much development time there because, once you've been in the league a couple of years, now you're 27. So I think the maturity, the age for Jarian Jones, I think he's coming at the right time.
Absolutely. Stay with us here on Jags A.M. Coming back, we'll have Ozone mailbag questions for you and the answers from John.
And that's a Magellan first down.
Move the freight, move the freight, move the freight.
Would you like to control your own income? Work at Magellan Transport. Voted the coolest office space in Duval. Bring your talents and let your career flourish. Visit their website at MagellanLogistics.com and apply online. Trust service. Trust Magellan. Enter the Corona Concert Beach giveaway for your chance to win 2 tickets to a concert at Daly's Place and a 2-night stay at a Florida beach hotel. No purchase necessary. Open only to legal U.S. residents residing in Florida 21+. The Corona Concert Beach giveaway is running from June 1st, 2024 and ends July 1st, 2024. No transportation or alcohol awarded with prizes. Prizes must be used before December 31st, 2024. Sponsored by Bold Events, LLC. Void outside the state of Florida. For complete details, see official rules at dailysplace.com/connect/Corona sweepstakes. More on Corona Beer at coronausa.com. Have you been looking for a way to positively impact the youth in our community? Become a Take Stock in Children mentor today. For 25 years, Goodwill's Take Stock program has been changing the lives of middle and high school students in Duval, Putnam, and Swanee counties. It offers support through mentoring, college tuition scholarships, and so much more. Take Stock is growing rapidly, and more mentors are needed. For just 1 hour a month during the school year, you can help shape a brighter future. To learn more and apply to be a mentor, visit goodwillnorth-fl.org.
Jaguars fans, gear up at Fanatics.com with all the latest Jags styles. You can shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
This broadcast
is Ozone friendly.
Ozone mailbag. Our final Ozone mailbag, because this is our final show until training camp. So, got to get all the wisdom out of John while we can.
Squeeze it out.
Try so hard.
Bring it out.
Our first question is about some of the long-term deals that might be in the works. Rob from Pittsburgh wants to know, do you think the Jags will be able to sign Tyson Campbell and Andre Cisco to long-term contracts if they both have good seasons this year?
Yeah, when I answered this in text form, some fans sort of, I guess, got mad at my answer that, I think there's a better chance of them signing Tyson Campbell long-term immediately than Andre Cisco.
Sure.
Not necessarily because one is that much better a player than the other. Some of it's positional value, right? I mean, Tyson Campbell is a guy who still projects as a big-time player at a big-time value position in this league. Safety is a touch. Just look at the draft, right? I mean, safety is considered a little easier to find. I think overall, when Tyson has been healthy, I think there's a better chance of them getting something done with Tyson in the next year-ish before the start of next off season than Andre Cisco, who I think still has to prove a little bit consistency in the back end.
Tyson has to be a higher priority because he plays corner, and that's been the story this offseason. Do they have the players that they can go forward with in Ryan Nielsen's defense? And after time to evaluate him, they've decided that Campbell's a guy that they want. So they'll get something done with him, and the salary cap's taking some bumps up. Once they get the deal done with Trevor, they'll have more maneuverability. I wouldn't be surprised if something for Cisco doesn't get done, but if you're going to put 1 and 2, it's the corner then the safety. Because
safety is such a hard position because it's, you put value on it, and then when you're building the roster and you're saying, okay, we got to have X, Y, Z, it's sometimes, whatever after Z is. Z. So it just sometimes gets kicked down. Sort of like running back a little bit. Probably not fair to the position, but it's sort of the way of the league.
I imagine the team's going to try to get something with Tyson done sooner than later as well, because the longer you wait with Tyson, he comes and has a great year, it's going to get more expensive. So our second question is a little bit more general about some of the tackling issues. I was curious about the discussions concerning poor tackling. Do you think it's due to the continued push for player safety? Are defensive players becoming overly cautious about the tackling?
Yeah, I think there's an element of this, but I don't know that the big picture with tackling is systemic with guys pulling off, right? And I think what the reader's talking about is, when you see a guy on the sidelines who pulls up, or they're coming in and they don't want to get a penalty. I think we see that at times, but I don't think that's systemic and causing poor tackling. I think tackling in general, especially early in the season, is not as good as it is late in the season because they don't practice it. Yeah. So I don't think it's a bad point that we sometimes see weirdness because of players trying to not get penalties. But if you have to point to anything, it's the fact that there's really only, the Jaguars, for example, and I think this is the right way to do it, by the way, because how the league is, they might true live hit to the ground tackling 10 minutes a year outside of playing.
Sure.
Most of it's thud tackling. Even in training camp when the pads are on, they're not going to the ground, as they say. So how could it not be a little shoddy compared to eras when they tackle to the ground?
Nothing to add there. The thud tackling is the best that they can do, and it shows on the field, especially early in the season. I will also say, a little more than John, I think you have players thinking a lot more now. I mean, where can I hit him? Where does my head have to be? How can I move my hips? I think that the rules have made guys more cautious, and I do think that's impacted tackling.
Sure. Let's check out our final Ozone question today. I think things are finished up, but Bob from St. Augustine wants to know, have all the 2024 draft picks signed their rookie contracts?
Yeah, and I think the answer is yes. They got them done last week. Smith signed, I guess, Thursday, Brian Thomas Friday. No,
that's it.
And the funny thing, Brian, is when I got this question last week, I wasn't sure, right? Yeah. And what a difference in 10, 15 years ago when the big news was all, the first round pick is signed by now, it was Well, unheard of.
I think the last player that we tracked was Blaine Gabbert, because that was the year that they were working through the player lockout, and one of the deals with the new collective bargaining agreement was that they were going to have a rookie wage scale. And from 2013 through now, every one of those draft picks, we just assumed they would be in because their slot was pretty much set. There were a couple of little holdouts in the early years because they were trying to get guaranteed money, done just right, or voidable years in the contract and things like that, or partial return of signing bonus for guys. But for the most part, for the last 11 years, it's pretty much been decided.
But it's as it should be now, which is that signing these guys is an afterthought.
Yeah.
And you no longer have to worry about a guy coming in 37 days after, 37-day holdouts, risking injury with that. A lot of times in sports, things go on forever unfixed. Both sides saw a problem and they got it fixed, and it got fixed practically overnight, which doesn't always happen.
It's good to see them all out there practicing, a part of these training camps and OTAs, and now the ink on the contracts are official. So stay with us here on Jags A.M. We'll be right back after the break to talk about training camp upcoming next month.
Chelsea here from Renewal by Andersen, where we deliver custom designed energy savings windows and doors. Did you know our unique Fibrix material combines elegance and resilience, offering double the strength of traditional vinyl? Now through June, buy one window or patio door and receive 40% off, plus 0 down, 0 monthly payments, and 0 interest for 12 months. Restrictions apply. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Visit rbafla.com for details. License number CGC 1527613.
Enter the Corona Concert Beach Giveaway for your chance to win 2 tickets to a concert at Daly's Place and a 2-night stay at a Florida beach hotel. No purchase necessary. Open only to legal U.S. residents residing in Florida 21+. The Corona Concert Beach Giveaway is running from June 1st, 2024 and ends July 1st, 2024. No transportation or alcohol awarded with prizes. Prizes must be used before December 31st, 2024. Sponsored by Bold Events, LLC. Void outside the state of Florida. For complete details, see official rules at dailysplace.com/connect/Corona Sweepstakes. More on Corona Beer at coronausa.com.
Jaguars fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear from all the leagues, teams, and Jaguars players you love. Shop the most trusted brands, exclusive designs by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars. Join Fanatics Rewards today and earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and get today's special offer. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Welcome back to Jags A.M. We're getting ready for training camp, and Mac Jones just living the dream out there. There is no better job than backup quarterback. Look at this. What's Randy Senior do for you?
Yeah, it looks like he's having a lot of fun these days.
John, were you dancing on the sidelines too?
I was. That's what you didn't see there. But
you were mirroring each other, right?
But on a serious note, good for Mac Jones. The storyline is that he comes here to his hometown. He's a first-round pick. You sort of reset your career a little bit. I don't know that he'll be here more than a year.
Sure.
And for his sake, I think he hopes he isn't. He seems like a fun guy, and he's got to be around even though he went to bowls.
Well, and I'd be dancing a little bit with that story this week that came out from Damian Harris, the running back for the Patriots, who said that it wasn't Mac Jones' fault what happened last year.
I think a lot of people, at least from my family and people I know, I think there's a lot of understanding in that. He wasn't put in a great position. Yeah. There's a lot of pressure up there, and obviously following Tom Brady doesn't help. So I hope this is a good year for Mac as well. He can get back on track and get everything going. He's certainly happier, and that's good to see.
Well, you want good guys in the locker room. It helps everybody, especially when you have a guy like that in your meeting room, a guy like that on your practice field, on your airplane. It helps everything.
Well, it's also from his perspective, I've got to think has a chance to be one of the best 32 next year.
Oh, yeah.
So
in a league that was, how many quarterbacks did we see playing last year that you didn't even know their names because of injuries?
Right.
Browns got to Joe Flacco off the couch. People.
Falcons Vikings game were two quarterbacks that each team hadn't had when the season started. I mean, so Mac Jones absolutely should get an opportunity.
And one final thought, if you have to come to a place to sort of get reset, you come to a place where Doug Peterson is the head coach and Mike McCoy's around, who's been a head coach. So good opportunity for a guy to sort of take a breath and say, okay, I'm going to learn a little bit. So good for him.
All right, we've got about a month and a week or change off. So what are you guys getting up to? John, you going to the beach?
I might go at some point. Not sure yet. We're kind of wing it, but we'll figure something out.
All right, fair enough. You're going to bring the bucket hat back when we get back for training camp.
Absolutely,
All right, bucket hats will be back. Everyone, enjoy your break. We are going to take a break here on Jags A.M, but we will be back for training camp the final week of July. We'll see you then. Enjoy the summer.